Welcome to I'd Play That for $1, powered by the World 1-1 Podcast Network. I am your host, Larry the Bearded Wonder. Joining me this week are my friends, Todd Oxtra.
Hello.
And over on the opposite side of the internet from Todd is Chris John.
Greetings.
And this is World 1-1's newest budget gaming podcast, where we talk about roundtable rapid fire reviews of games that we got our grubby little mitts on for $1 or less, and we tell you if they're actually worth anything. So let's start out this week with Todd. What you got?
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll start out on a good note here with Outcast Second Contact. This game has just got a crazy life. So Outcast originally came out in 1999. It was known for its pretty cool visual quality. It was like I don't know if it used voxels or whatever it used back in the day, but really cool looking game. You're basically you're on a space exploration mission. You crash land. You're on a mission then to save your friends, people you're on the mission with. But then you were also basically appointed to be the savior of this planet from despots and things like this. And this game, it's called Second Contact because this is essentially a remaster of the original game, but in a lot of ways it feels like a remake, because if you saw what the old game looked like, holy cow, it looks like a 1999 game. But this new one, I was wholly impressed with how good it looks and what they did to it. This remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, came out in 2017. This was on Amazon Prime Gaming. And this is a 3D action combat game. You have weapons, you have brawling skills, you can jump, you can swim. The alien world looks pretty cool. But there are times when this game, the mechanics feel like they're from 1999. Like it's got like a red, like almost like, you know, in your gaming sites from like one of those games where you have like your red laser cursor has that to shoot. Really no indication how much damage your enemies will take. So you're shooting them. But I would say though, for what they did to it, to bring it up to speed, it's still pretty good. I really enjoyed it. But it is, like I said, I think some of the things just still hold it back. You can only do so much. So I feel like it is a remaster where they basically kept the architecture the same and they didn't do much with it, but it gave it a beautiful, fresh coat of paint, brought up some really good and modern improvements in gameplay and saves and things like that. So I think it's well worth a play. It's unfortunately though, it's $40 normally, which is just that's pretty high. But it's only $4 on PSN right now. So I don't know if it's like normally like $4 and it says suggested 40, but I think for $4, it seems like there's a lot of content here. And this is for people who are fans of the original, like I played the original back in the day, didn't get too far into it though. This was a surprise because it's a game that kind of matches what you were remembering it looked like 20 years ago and what it actually looks like now. So this is a good hybrid of that by a studio. I think this is owned by THQ Nordic, owns this game, the studio who made this version of the remaster, and they're actually making a sequel, which does look like a modern game, which I'm pretty excited about if they can pull it off. So Larry, I think I'd buy this for $1.
Yeah,
or play this for $1. Yeah, I think I would. See, you say it better than I do.
Now, Todd, did they purposely make the mechanics like 1999, or is that?
I think they. Developer? No, I think they did their best to update it as much as they could. It's kind of like Resident Evil 4 on VR on Oculus. Mm. It's still essentially Resident Evil 4, which they've never remade that game, but that's going on how many years now too. So I think they did their best, but I'm happy to see what they did graphically and visually, and to see them making a sequel, and it's coming out maybe next year, has me interested. So I think this is a good step if you want to dip your toes in and not spend a lot.
Cool.
Good deal. All right, Chris, what you got?
Well, I'm going to be kind of stealing Kathleen's thunder from our last episode, and going to be
She's
talking.
not even here to defend the thunder either.
So that's why I'm
That's
taking
just
advantage
dirty
of this.
pool.
I'm taking advantage of the situation. So, so as another free to play game has joined us in this holiday season, Halo Infinite multiplayer, and yeah, it is free. It is available on Steam and obviously on Game Pass as well for Xbox, and it is an amazingly good time. I honestly, because what's shocking to me is I was never really a Halo multiplayer person. Because I stink at first person shooters, and especially competitively, I stunk. But there's just something about this. Yeah, there's just something about this game that like I just kept playing it over and over again. I was like, let me just play one more round. It's just like, even though it's definitely not a modern shooter. It's got some hints of it, like, with the aim down sights and sprint and stuff like that, but it still feels like a Halo game. So it's a little bit. I was watching a bunch of like YouTube videos about how this compares to like modern shooters and stuff like that. It's interesting when you come down, like break it down. It's really a dance between two people. Like especially when dueling 1-on-1 with someone, it's really a dance, like trying to figure out this positioning and stuff like that. Whereas I feel like a lot of other shooters is just like you're just trying to do as much as you can, damage as you can. But anyway, it is free, and anyone who has a chance to try it out, definitely check it out. I would play this for $1. So, but it's free, so it wins. Everyone wins.
I was giving Chris crap, and it was funny because Kathy is now she's basically bought a free game, which was the game she did last week. Plus, she just watched the game. so it's like eventually it's just going to be, I listened to a commercial. This is my review of a game.
This raises the ultimate question: would you listen to this show for $1?
Exactly.
And if so,
Yeah, so
we have a tip jar on Good Pods where you should be listening to this show.
There you go.
Do we have a season pass? If they don't want to buy the game, they can, or buy the podcast, they can subscribe. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, you can mute Todd for $1.
Yeah,
right.
Amazing.
That's what we're gonna do. That's the Patreon exclusive. Is that there's a different version of this show for every episode with one person on mute.
That would be interesting to hear, actually. It's like you're talking to no one. It's like, oh, right.
You're getting 2/3 of a conversation.
I didn't realize I was on mute the whole time. Oh, we muted you. That's what Larry's just going to randomly mute people on an episode.
Yeah.
We're going to decide by Twitter poll.
Absolutely. Gotta love it. Chris, really quick question though, because I'm not a big PvP gamer either, and I played the multiplayer.
Yep.
And excluding like the grappling hook, which I really like, as like it feels like more Halo. So to me, I'm like, I played 4, I played 5. It doesn't really belong. Yeah. So I'm glad this is out there for everybody to play. I am hopeful though they will add in. I think I mentioned this. PvE modes, because I love Destiny PvE, the strikes and things like that, where you're playing with friends, and maybe that's going to be part of the campaign, where that's how they expand the campaign. Right. But yeah, I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course it was a bummer when 343 said that they were pushing out the co-op, and now it seems like it's going to be middle to later next year. But from what they've turned around, from last year, what they showed and all that stuff, it is everyone seems to be enjoying this game. So I'm happy with what I got so far, and I hope they continue to improve on it, because if this is the platform that they're going to be building upon, I think it's at least a pretty solid foundation that they can continue with. So let's give them a little bit more time. That's all.
They've had 6 years, Chris.
These are big games, man. Like, look at Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 6. That game's not out yet. So let's talk about that. No,
They've got. Well, it exists on a napkin somewhere, and that's it.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I got one this week, and I'm going for a sequel to one that I got to do in an earlier episode, actually. So we're doing part 1 and now part 2.
Okay.
Got Steamworld Dig 2.
Ooh.
That was a freebie up on Twitch a while back. So, and Steamworld Dig 2, don't get me wrong, Steamworld Dig 2 is a really, 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 really great game. Like, it is objectively the better game of the 2 Steamworld Digs. However, I personally, for as much as I should, I don't like it as much as Steamworld Dig 1, which I know is really dumb and weird, but there it is. That said, it is objectively a better game than Steamworld Dig 1. It's way more massive. There's a lot more going on. It kind of drops it totally drops the whole randomized aspect for a much larger but fixed map across the world. Definitely gives you more tools to play around with, and as a result, too, they take way bigger swings with the story as well, which was really cool. I thought it was a neat follow-up to Steamworld Dig 1 because you actually play as Rusty's cousin Dot, who was up on the surface in Steamworld Dig 1 exchanging rocks for money, basically. And so you're now playing as her, and she's looking for Rusty, who went missing after the events of the end of the first Steamworld Dig. So, and bonus points too, because Steamworld Dig 2 came out after Steamworld Heist, but it shows the setup for Steamworld Heist at the end of Dig 2, which I thought was neat. Really, really good though. It definitely had some points that present a solid challenge, but nothing through the roof, pull your hair out kind of nonsense, unless you're Todd or Chris, in which case that's never an issue.
Never. Well, I have some on my face. So.
I do too. I got a little bit. I got a flavor saver.
Todd's got the touch of soul patch there.
That's right. I got a little bit of soul. I was going to say, Larry, I am a person that did not care for Dig, but absolutely loved Dig 2 because I did not like the mechanic of, oh crap, I'm at a dead end, and I'm like I didn't feel like I could then get back to where I wanted to go. So I kind of felt like I get it. It's the exploration of it, but I'm like, what I found never felt that interesting to me. So I'm like, but I got to go back up again. So I'm like, feels like chores, and I feel like I'm a real prospector in the unglamorous parts of being a prospector.
Honestly, now that you say it like that, I'm kind of sitting here thinking Steamworld Dig 1 might be like my version personally of Animal Crossing, because I can't stand Animal Crossing, but Steamworld Dig 1 is just that repetitive rhythmic thing for me. Dig 2, has some of those elements, but it doesn't feel as rhythmic in that sense. It feels a lot more push forward with a lot less call or tether to go back to that hub world, even though there's more going on in that hub world where you're doing upgrades and modifications to your gear and your weapons and stuff too, which is really kind of neat because you can kind of rearrange your loadout and extra features and skills and stuff as needed and shuffle them around. And I thought it was really cool. It was a neat thing, but part of the replayability in the mindlessness of Steamworld Dig 1 gets lost here for me because it's more in depth in its systems and its scope. All in all, though, Chad Kroger is 0 for 3 this week.
Wait, where did you end up getting this for? How much did you pay for this?
It was on Twitch as a freebie a while back.
That's right. Twitch, okay.
Yeah. So, now that said, this is a game I've actually bought multiple times because I'm a terrible human being. Now, I did wait. I didn't buy it digitally originally. I don't think I did. Because, as I recall, it did get announced that they were doing a physical for it on Switch when it released. So I ordered a hard copy on Switch. And then it was included in a bundle pack from Super Rare. So I've got it a few times in a few places, but it was acquired for free on Dirt Twitches.
So dumb question before we move on. How much would it piss off people if the next Nintendo console doesn't use the same cartridge format? Like it's actually it's like way too, like the size is totally wrong. So it's like, sorry, those cartridges you bought don't work anymore.
I don't know. I just expected and anticipated at this point. I just assume that's going to be the case, and if it is backwards compatible, added bonus.
Got it.
I never assume that's a given anymore.
Are they coming out with a Steamworld but it's like in a 3D environment?
So they did just tease a new Steamworld game called Steamworld Headhunter.
Okay.
And that was in the Thunderful World Direct.
That's what it was. Okay.
So
interesting.
But well, I believe we've made the rounds. So I want to say thank you to my friends Todd and Chris for coming and hanging out with me. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in and listened to us on your favorite podcatcher, including which should be Good Pods, the best place to podcast. And thanks for tuning into a production of the World 1-1 Podcast Network. Press start to engage your mind. Peace.
Bye.